You ready?
Yep.
All right. I'll call this meeting of the Planning and Zoning Commission to order. May I have a roll call, please?
Uhl, Hubner,
Here.
Gallion,
Here.
Kahn,
Here.
Hofstetter,
Here.
Schrock,
Here.
Kreider.
You've got the minutes before you from the April 7th meeting. Are there any additions or corrections to those? Hearing none, do I have a motion to approve?
Motion.
Second.
Hubner,
Aye.
Schrock,
Aye.
Gallion,
Aye.
Kahn,
Aye.
Hofstetter.
Aye. On the Board of Zoning Appeals, we have one item, a variance request from OSU Extension Office for some signage. Nate?
Yeah, so they just went before the Design Review Board and got approval for the certificate of appropriateness. Each downtown business is limited to 32 square feet of signage. They being on a corner lot, installed 2 signs, and they did apologize for installing those prior to getting the approval. They didn't realize they needed to do that until I reached out to them. But my point, being on a corner lot, they wanted the double exposure, double frontage. So they wanted a sign from each direction, 24 square foot signs, 48 total. And that's why it came to you guys for consideration of a 16 square foot variance. We sent out the surrounding property owner notifications and received 0 concerns or feedback at all.
I know they're up, and I don't think the size is inappropriate for the size of the building. I think it fits in.
I agree.
I do too. I have no problem with that, but I do have a problem with them not knowing and going ahead and putting them up without any notification.
Agreed.
That's part of the county. I mean, they all know we have a zoning law or have a zoning board and everything in town. And to just ignore it, I think is wrong.
It's a constant battle.
I know. Is there anything that can be constantly done? Should there be a letter sent out to all the agencies, the realtors and so on and so forth, and tell them that, hey, in some areas you're restricted and that they need to apply before they go ahead and do this thing or before they go ahead and sell a property? I think we're running into a lot of this, and it's bringing it back on Nate, because
I wonder if you have,
you're going to have to go around.
Go ahead. I'm
You're
sorry.
going to have to go around everything that's going up. I mean, it's
As long as I've been here, it's been an issue. I know it's just always, we try to stay ahead of them, but it doesn't always happen.
I think there ought to be something sent out to all the realtor agencies and so on and so forth in the county, and let them know that, hey, the village of Millersburg does have zoning, and you need to, any client or anything that you're selling should be considered as to whether it's legal to sell it and say, oh yeah, you go ahead and do it. I don't think it's right.
Yeah, no, I could do that, no problem.
Well, I'm just one board member. I mean, it's up to everybody else, but I think something should be done.
Well, Dave,
We've run into more and more. Go ahead.
I know what you're talking about. Here, the property down in Kitten Alley, when that house trailer burned here a few years ago, the realtor did market that as a mobile home site. But luckily Nate caught it and did stop, informed the realtor at that time that couldn't happen. But it may not be a bad idea, just send a reminder out, and we do have zoning, and if you have any questions, please contact the office.
Yeah, it's interesting. Majority of my calls for zoning confirmations usually come from the banks or the lenders or, the financial institutions that's usually when it gets checked. The realtors generally are pushing things through, understandably. They want to see a deal done. It's usually the funding source that does the verification.
Yeah, but usually when it gets to that point, it's almost a done deal. I mean, the realtors,
But
yeah.
that stops it before it happens too, if there's a problem.
Yeah, but here you have a case where you have a county courthouse right next door and everything else. And all the other people in town that, know that signs have been a question and they go right ahead and put theirs up. I mean, it just doesn't fall in a proper line of thinking. I think they think they can get away with it by just going ahead and doing it. I think it's too late to stop it. For myself, I'm going to vote any way you go on this thing tonight. I'm voting no.
And Nate, I think there's two things at play really, right? I mean, part of it is, had they been within the signage requirements, it should have been just a design review board, but that's only in the downtown district, right?
Correct.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Nate, was there something a couple of years ago that was brought up about the idea of a penalty phase of some kind for stuff that was put up ahead of time? Am I remembering that correctly?
Yes, and we do have a penalty. The zoning code does have a penalty section for things that don't meet the requirements.
Is that applicable in this situation?
It probably would be.
And how much of a
I'll say it could be. I think, if I remember right, when I first started, there was an issue with somebody building a garage somewhere, and I was not involved in it, but I remember hearing about it. They did assess penalties and then ended up waiving them because he got the permits needed then. So that's the only one I'm aware of that actually went that far.
and I don't know if it's something as simple as just letting them know, hey, there is a penalty that we could have enforced, but we chose not to. And if that word gets around, maybe that will play a part in encouraging people to check before they put the signs up.
Sure.
Is there any other discussion or questions, anything on this?
I think Dave's point as far as reaching out to the realtors, I think that's a good idea. I also think that the new building that's going up just east of there probably wouldn't be a bad idea to reach out before they do anything and just say, hey, there's zoning laws regarding this and might want to contact us before you do anything. Just be proactive about it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because there's some other development going on in the alley just east of that yet. And we have to see what happens there. The old Steimel, that old barn, the Steimel place back in there. Now they talking about a sign on that being part of the original structure, which is fine, but what other requirements are they going to want? You know what I'm talking about, Nate?
I do. The old blacksmith shop.
Yes.
Yep. And I've been in contact with him, the new owner of that, throughout. Everything he's doing and has proposed to do meets all the zoning to this point, unless he changes course.
Well, I'm not saying, that there's a problem there. I'm just saying that's the thing. You're gonna have to go around and check on all these new places. People buying up houses in town and turning them into rentals and stuff like that. Are they meeting the requirements before before it's too late. Let's put it that way. I mean, they come along and say, "Oh, yeah, now we've done this," and again, I go back to the fact that we need to upgrade our zoning maps and everything.
But I'm not defending anybody, but the constant checking what's going on, that's always been and will always be part of my job. There's an ever changing cast of characters as property owners, and it's just, there's no way around that. You're going to always have to have people taking note of what's going on and just dealing with them as they come. And that's the best you can do.
Any other discussion? If not, would someone like to make a motion to approve the variance?
I would make a motion to approve the variance, Con.
I'll second that. Gallion.
Con,
Aye.
Gallion,
Aye.
Schrock,
No,
Hofstadter,
Aye.
Hubner.
Aye.
Okay, there's nothing else, Nate?
I do have two more things for you, if you
Okay.
don't mind. I'm going to share my screen here. Try to, if I can find the button. Okay, can everybody see that?
Yep.
I
Okay.
can't, Nate. But
Well, basically, there's two lots in town here that have been offered to Habitat. It's up off of North Grant Street, walk up in that area. The board has asked if you would give a preliminary input on dividing that lot, or those two lots, into four, as is shown here. Currently, the lots are 83 by 128. They lay east-west. And what they're proposing is 4 lots, just, dividing it into 4. I kind of removed myself as a board member from that discussion and put on my village cap, and said that, those lots would not meet our minimum square footage requirement. We require new lots to be 6,000 square feet. And if you can see down here, they're 5248 and 5312 would be the square footage, or somewhere around there, depending on how they divide it. So it's not a drastic variance from the 6,000 square feet, but it doesn't meet our requirements. So they wanted to get thoughts on that. The other option would be to divide it into 3, and they could do that and still meet the minimum lot requirement. So just wanted to open that up, get your input so I can pass that on to them so they kind of know how to proceed.
Nate, I do have a question in regards to this. Would they be looking at building the minimum 1,200 square foot homes on this, or are they looking to go smaller, or what?
They don't know at this point. A lot of that, it depends on the family need. If it's a single person or a couple, they don't necessarily need the bigger house, but if it's a family, they do.
Now that's zoned accordingly?
It is zoned R3. It's R3 village residential.
I take you guys would take down or Habitat take down the existing structures then?
Correct. Yeah, there's a mobile home and a garage there currently.
is that right at the top of the hill there?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
I would be against the 4 lots. The 3 lots would make it pretty tight. Even for fire protection, you go 4 lots, you're going to be awful tight. And we've had those houses out on Worcester Road that they built. And then, right after they were built, the one lady complained that she didn't have any room for kids to play in and this and that. And I think you're going to get pretty tight if you make it 4. 3 would be a little bit, but 4 would make it awful tight. Everybody else's opinion?
I think that neighborhood, those are both very narrow streets on both sides of those lots. I could see there be concern about adding 4 houses into that and contributing traffic to that.
Yeah, that's another one. Like I said, 3 would make it awful tight, even for fire protection. I mean, you know, they've got.
Yeah, I agree. 100. Those are very valid points. Those are alleys, really. They're not full streets. So, yeah, they are. That is a valid, and that plays into the fire protection discussion as well.
And I know that one on the west side is labeled as Grant Street, but it really, when it turns off there, it becomes an alley. I mean, it's not a full blown street.
Mhm.
Yep.
So Nate, if this went into 3 lots, would it be, I assume you would just take the 165, divide that out by 3. So it'd still be 128 feet deep, then 100 feet wide.
Correct. Which you'd be looking at a really good sized lot with 3 of them. You know, you'd be around 7,000 square foot.
I'm coming with 14,000.
For 3 of them.
Well, you're 110 feet by 128. Okay, if you take the 83 and the 82, you're 165 feet by 128. So you take the 165 and divide that by 3. Maybe I did my math wrong. That ain't right. Never mind.
Yeah, 7,000.
Yeah, it's 55 by 128. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I did my math.
Since I can't see the lots, is that going to make all 3 of them access to a street, or are they going to have to share a drive or something?
No, they'd all have access, and actually, all 4. If 4 was permitted, they're surrounded on 3 sides by alley, so they'd all have access to an alley, regardless of how you did it.
Yeah.
Dave, I'll send this to you after the meeting so you can see what it looks like.
Okay.
You know, Nate, after this discussion, I think I'd be more in favor of the 3 lots. I assume access would be all onto what's referred to as Grant Street. I assume they all face the same direction.
At this point, I would probably assume that, but I don't know.
Well, I just know like Home Alley, that's a pretty narrow dead end to someone's parking spot, basically.
Yeah, where that vehicle is, you
Yeah.
can kind of see the pavement stops there.
But as I walked up there other times, I think I've seen other cars parked along the edge. I think that'd be very tight. I think everything would almost have to go out onto Grant.
On the west side.
Yes.
I agree with that. I would feel more comfortable with 3 as well.
I think that makes the most.
Good.
Okay.
At 3 lots, take a look at the one down there on School Street. If they get that other 3rd house in there, that's gonna be tight.
It is.
And we probably should have never left them have 3 in that property because of the school access and the alley to the west. That's all pretty tight right there with 3 properties on it. And like I say, not being able to view this other one, I'll go for 3. I would think 3, but no 4.
I'd agree with that, Nate.
Okay. I'll let them know. And, you know, obviously, I'm sure you can read between the lines, but a lot of this discussion is will determine how they proceed as far as making an offer.
Right.
Yeah. Well, it'd be nice to see those other structures down. If it's the one I'm pretty sure that I'm thinking of. And three would be plenty.
Nate, can you scroll down? Is there, can we see more? No, the other way.
Oh, this is just a PDF of the.
Right, I want to see how much more you actually showed there, that's all.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. The last thing I had, do we want to go back to meeting in person? Is everybody comfortable with that? Council's doing it May 10th. Design Review Board agreed that they're ready to do it. I just wanted to offer to you guys as well, if everybody's comfortable, or if you're not, that's fine too. You can zoom in. However you want to do it.
I'd be in favor.
I'm okay doing it in person.
Yeah, I'm in person.
I'm good with it.
Okay, we'll just plan on our next meeting then. Design Review Board wanted to meet back at Village Council, where we always have. Council will be meeting out at the Police Auxiliary for
Hey,
now.
Excuse me, that brings up a good question. Not too many people know where that building is and how to get to it. I like,
Those meetings, they're not open to the public.
oh, they're not?
No, we're meeting in person, but the public access will still be through YouTube.
Oh, okay.
So,
Didn't realize that.
yeah. And
The
that's
way it was
what
gonna-
we'll do for these as well for the time being, until
Okay.
state orders change. Who knows when that could be.
Yeah.
Okay, that's all I had. Thank you all very much. Appreciate it.
Okay.
All right, everyone have a good
Anyone else have any other topics for discussion? If not, do I have a motion for dismissal?
So move.
Second, Con.
All in favor, say aye.
All right,
Aye.
have a good evening.